Good evening. Welcome to the locker room. Good to be with you tonight. And high school football, main topic, I guess, tonight.
Just 15 days away. I mean, it's not like, it's not like it's months away.
Oh, no. I mean, it's like I say, it's the main
That's
topic.
That's what I'm saying. It's the main topic. It's here. It's just 15 days
2
away.
weeks from tomorrow night.
Yeah. I mean, we'll be kicking it off down at Midway, the Rockwood Tigers. So,
a lot of scrimmaging going on now. A lot of coaches now have had the 7-on-7. Now they're looking to, try to put some final pieces to the puzzle. And next week, really, game week. You only got another week, and then you go to game week.
that's true. And then school starts for most people either Friday or Monday, I think, or so. School's back in session.
Yeah.
And that just keeps getting earlier and earlier every year.
Yeah.
So it's like the football season's a little earlier this year. I know it's probably not, but it seems like it is.
Today could have been one of those days, depending on what time you practiced. If you practiced, 4:30, 5 o'clock, you could have been close to that 102, 103 degree temperatures.
I'm sure in the last 2 or 3 days, or last week anyway, since they've been out, they've probably been close to that anyway a couple times.
Yeah.
So,
and we could have some Friday nights or Thursday nights.
If you look at the long range forecast, and we're 2 or 3 weeks, they're still predicting weather to be in the 90s for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, there's a good possibility that we'd have a Friday night game. It could be
because we've been close even when they started late in August, early September.
You're right. It's just like a weather delay, You just have to ride it out. Have we ever had a heat delay? I was trying to think. Have we had one maybe?
I think we had maybe 1 year where they had the temperature, had the gauge down on the field. And
where was that? Was that at Oliver? For some reason, I want to say Oliver Springs, but I know it probably wouldn't. But I just think we've had one.
But I think we have had one.
Well, it's here, whether we want it to be or not. And and Tennessee football ain't far off neither. So it's all going to kick off and be rolling. So.
Well,
I'm ready to go. What about you?
Well, let's just look here and see. Put my glasses on here a minute so I can see. So let's just, since we start with Rockwood, let's just look at Rockwood's schedule, and we're gonna see if we can try to maybe catch up with Coach Weber just in a little bit. Rockwood opens on Thursday night at Midway. Midway, a team that was young last year, improved as the year went on. Coach Minton now will be in his second year. They have to, they have an all-state lineman last year. They've got some material back. It's a rough way to have to start your season, though.
Yeah, but for the head coach there at Midway, it'll be a little bit different for him this year because it's his second year, so things are going to be a little easier for him. I mean, I don't mean schedule-wise. I mean easier for him just settling in, doing all the things he has to do, doing all the stuff he has to do to get into TSSAA and get everything done. And it's probably a little easier for him, and maybe he can game plan a little bit. But, I don't know that I'd want to open up at Rockwood. But who else? I mean, you could say Harriman. They wouldn't want to open up with Harriman neither.
Well, then the Tigers will have Sweetwater at home, and Sweetwater is a team that over the years, Rockwood's had some rivalry going with Sweetwater back when they were in the same district, same classification, and Sweetwater moved up out of the district. But back in the early 90s, Rockwood-Sweetwater was a big game.
And from what I'm hearing, and I just got bits and pieces this afternoon, apparently Clinton was in a scrimmage maybe yesterday with Sweetwater, and I understand Sweetwater looked pretty good.
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Okay. They're rich in tradition.
Oh yes.
At Sweetwater, I mean they've
always been a pretty good football team there.
Produced a lot of big time players. So Tigers will be at home with Sweetwater. Then they go on the road to Tennessee Christian, a team that's been struggling, fairly new. Then you have a big county game. Tigers go on the road to Kingston. And that's always huge. Doesn't matter what the records are. Doesn't matter about anything other than you just tighten your helmet another notch. Make sure your shoulder pads are a little tighter, your shoe straps are a little tighter. You just go to war.
Is that a game that Rockwood has won a lot, or have they held their own in that game?
They've held their own. Kingston probably holds the overall series. It's been I know when my son played, out of the 4 years, I think we were 500 with them. That was back in the days when Kingston just willed their way to win. I mean, you could win 3 3/4 quarters, and they would find a way to come back and beat you at Kingston.
We've seen that with Harriman.
Sugarman Field is truly the home of the Yellow Jackets.
I heard that. Well, we've seen them go on the road and go to Harriman, and Harriman outplay them for 3 quarters. And in the 4th quarter, Kingston would would always get them.
Well, but especially though at home,
it's a good place for a football.
They just don't lose at home.
It's a good place for a football game. Kingston's a really good place to go see a football game.
So that's the Tigers at Kingston. Then they come home for a really hard stretch, home against Grace Christian, which a lot of folks I think originally thought maybe down a little bit this year, but then they go to Tennessee Tech in a 7-on-7 situation.
Well, yeah, but I don't put much faith in that.
Well, you don't, but still, that means when you win those things, that means somebody can throw the ball fairly well.
Well,
and you have some pretty good receivers. I agree with you.
I still am not going to put much faith in it, so we'll see what happens. I understand that Grace is not going to be that good this year.
Well, and I think that's the understanding of a lot of folks.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Is that this could be the year?
But every year that they've said that, they've been pretty good, and they knock on the playoff doors and they go late in the playoff. They've never been able to get over that hurdle to actually get to a state championship. So we'll just have to see how that plays out.
And then they stay at home the next week for Harriman, one of the oldest rivalries in the state of Tennessee.
And that'll be a tough ball game right there.
And if you talk to folks in Harriman, they're excited about this year's team, coming off of a really good season last year, and skill-wise may be the best team in the county. Skill-wise, if you take everything into consideration. I know Coach Tabb doesn't like to hear that, but this show is about truth, except when you get off on some of your tangents.
Well, I don't get off on much tangents about Coach Tapp because he always has a fairly good football team.
Well, I'm not talking about Coach Tapp. I'm just talking about.
So I'll be truthful about him.
Okay.
I mean, he's a good football coach, and he deserves everything he's getting.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
Then the Tigers are open. Then they go to Oliver Springs.
Another tough.
A team that's probably going to be much improved.
Me and Brad was talking about them, and I think they had a scrimmage maybe a night or two ago, and maybe I think they won their scrimmage. So, no scrimmages don't mean much, but still, yet it's a fairly good indicator too, when you start doing it live anyway.
Then the Tigers are home against Austin East, a really good football team.
That's a team out of Knoxville this year that everybody seems to be hyped on. That this is AE's year to get back into glory days, and we'll just have to wait and see on that. I would think the jury's out, and we'll just have to play the year out.
But started last year with it.
Yeah.
Started last year with it.
Yep.
Turning the program around. Then the Tigers go to Wartburg, and then they finish at Tellico Plains. So
Tellico Plains has been a pretty tough game for them the last couple of years.
Pretty good football.
Anyway.
Yep.
Wartburg down a little bit. Don't know much about them this year. Hadn't heard much about them this year. Still got the same coach.
Yes.
That they did have.
Okay. So what do you think?
Rockwood?
Yeah.
Well, Coach Webb's really going to hate me if I say this. So I think this has got to be a year he's down a little bit. I'm going to say 5-5.
5-5?
Yeah.
Wow.
5-5. He's probably loving it right now.
5-5.
Yeah. 5-5.
Okay.
Well, you asked me.
Well,
you just want me to be truthful.
I can't.
This is the first year in many years I've sat here and said Rockwood's 5-5. Think you're 5-5.
Okay.
5-5. I probably could tell you the losses.
If you don't care.
I'd say Harriman's one of them. Kingston's one of them. Grace is one of them. Tell me who else. I don't remember who you said. Sweetwater will be one of them.
Austin East,
Austin East will be
Harbor
one of them.
Springs, Tellico.
And I'm not even. I could tell you that the way the Tellicos played them the last couple of years could very well be one. And I wouldn't be shocked if Harbor Springs maybe doesn't get them. Just
So
me.
are you changing that to 3
No,
and
I'm
7?
saying 5 and 5. I'll say 5 and 5. Coach Weber proved me wrong. He's done that many times. I mean, you know, I've picked him 8 and 2, 9 and 1, 7 and 3. He's always better than that. So 5 and 5 pick, he's probably turning the flips in his chairs right now. Yeah, what's your pick?
Wow.
When wow don't count.
I'm speechless.
Well, what do you pick?
Wow.
I just picked it honestly. 5 and 5. And could it be worse? Oh yes, could be. We'll know. Let me say, I'll leave you out of it. I'll know a little bit more about Rockwood after I see them play against Midway and see what their quarterback situation. You're looking at a team that's got to find a quarterback. Somebody that didn't play a snap last year.
No, that might not be true.
Yeah, well, I think so. I don't remember the Will Warner coming out any games or being hurt any games. Played most every game the last 2 years.
But you said every snap.
Well, I don't. That's what I'm just saying. I don't remember Will Warner not playing every game, every snap last year.
Okay.
So do you?
Yes.
Well, what game? If you don't mind telling me.
I don't.
That's what I thought.
But
that's what I thought.
But he did. But
well,
he
no,
did.
but it's but okay. So he come in and maybe played 2 or 3 minutes. Doesn't count, Barry.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. If it counted, when we talk about UT, we'd say the guy that's behind Dobbs has played some mop-up games last year, and he's got some experience. So if Dobbs goes down, let's don't panic, Tennessee fans.
No, don't panic.
No, but you're going to panic. We don't have a quarterback.
No,
That
no,
don't
I
count.
didn't- no, don't
Same
panic.
thing in high school.
Don't panic.
No quarterback.
Oh, it's worse than high school.
No, you know,
It's worse
don't
than high
have
school.
that cohesiveness. So I'm saying 5 and 5. Prove me wrong, Coach. I'm sure he can do it.
I wish we hadn't talked too much about truthfulness here tonight.
You asked me to just
Huh?
my opinion in all these years.
Wow.
I've said 9 and 1 or 8 and 2. The comment I get back from you, Coach Webb, won't know if you're crazy. Well, no, I'm not crazy. I'm just calling it like I say it. 5 and 5.
I'll say 7-3.
Very well could be 7 and 3. I just 5 and 5. I just want to see the quarterback play and see some other things. You know, I understand he might change his offense a little bit. That'd probably help him win another game or 2.
You think he's going to the West Coast
He
offense?
ain't going no West Coast. He's going to run it down your throat with all that trickery stuff and
Trickery?
tight end hot pass and stuff like that. He's the old school coach as you get, and they ain't a better coach in the area. So I'd put I should have just said 10 and 0.
No, I don't think.
No, I think he's 5 and 5. Now 5 and 5, he can still make playoffs. 5 and 5 leads to 6 and 4, 7 and 3. I could see that. Go ahead to the next.
I'm gonna take a break.
You can't. I think Brad went to the front.
You've
Go ahead. Let's hit the next.
wow.
No, we're not breaking. Let's do Oak Ridge next.
Oak Ridge.
Yep.
Oak Ridge opens at Clinton.
Okay.
Okay. A big county rivalry. So then Dobbins Bennett comes to town. Oak Ridge has had their way with Dobbins Bennett last couple of years. Dobbins Bennett's been sort of on the bubble a little bit.
Ends this year. Go ahead.
Then they have Farragut at home.
Always.
And now Farragut and now Farragut is part of the district. So before it was never part of the district.
Always tough game
Always,
for them.
always tough. But I like Oak Ridge in that game. And then you have Anderson County at home. So in the first 5 games, you have 2 county rivalries. So Anderson County at Oak Ridge, week 4. And then the Cats go to Lenoir City, which has been down last couple of years. And then week 6, Sevier County comes to Blankenship Field. So Blankenship Field is going to be home to Dobbins Bennett, Anderson County, Sevier County. Not a bad schedule for you, Buck. There now.
Is that their whole schedule?
No, that's their 3 games there. And then they have Carnes at home. Then they go to McMinn County, and then they're open. Then they have Knox Webb at Knox Webb, and then they finish at Campbell County.
6 and 4.
So I've got them 9 and 1.
6 and 4.
Okay. 9-1.
We say it again?
No.
6-4.
9-1. I wish I had a pen so I'm going to write these things down here. We're going to take a break. Let's come back and
I'll remember that.
see where we are.
Bring East Tennessee values to Washington. Here in Tennessee, we have a great tradition of collecting antique firearms. When President Obama came out with another gun control initiative, I stepped up and I defunded that. I have a 100% pro-life voting record since I've been in Congress, and that's why, again, I'm proud to receive the endorsement of the National Right to Life Committee.
Conservative Chuck Fleischman for Congress.
I'm Chuck Fleischman, and I approve this message.
What makes Reno stand apart from the competition? Reason number one, personal service. Whether you come in or call in and place an order, our experienced staff knows your sport and your school, and we'll help make your purchase easier. Reno Sporting Goods.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Herman and Rockwood.
I am for the child who's had 7 addresses in a single year because she's in foster care, because her father abused her, and her mother couldn't believe her. She is the child I am for. I am a CASA volunteer. I am you.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry, plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
We've all seen stories of conflict that ended with peace. We've seen stories of hunger end in abundance. We see stories of fear, despair, and poverty, but they can end with courage, hope, and love. With you. Be a part of writing a story that's greater than poverty. Learn how at vision.org.
Since 1987, Reno's has been providing East Tennessee with superior uniforms and equipment. With in-house screen printing and monogramming, we provide professional custom gear for athletes, coaches, and supporters. Reno Sporting Goods, your team dealer.
Welcome back to the locker room, joined now by Coach John Webb of the Rockwood Tigers. Coach, thanks for taking some time to be with us.
I appreciate it. Thanks for calling.
And Coach, as always, where did the summer go, right? You think you have a lot of time, and you look up and we're 2 weeks out.
Yeah, I know. That's what you just brought to my attention there during the break. It don't seem like it ought to be on us this quick, but, we got a lot of stuff to do before, now and then, but hopefully we still got a couple of weeks and we can get it all done.
Coach, anytime you're talking about high school football, you're talking about this time of year, you look at the kids that you had last year and you look around and they're gone, and all of a sudden you see some youngsters coming in, and you hope that you've got enough veterans scattered around to give you a little leadership, but sometimes it gets frightening, doesn't it?
Well, that's one thing we try not to do. I tell them early, those guys we lost last year, they're not walking back in the door, and this is their football team now, and they got to make the best out of it, and we've done a pretty decent job out here, so far this fall, and summer had good workouts, and so hopefully it'll just carry on throughout the season.
Coach, is the quarterback position the biggest hole you had to fill coming into this year?
Well, we got a lot of holes to fill, and we talk about, we don't really like to use the word rebuilding. I know it's an old cliche when you say that, but I ain't gonna sit here and say we're reloading either. But you know, we got some guys that are stepping up and, you know, stepping in, filling some big shoes that we lost last year. And, you know, the couple of kids that we've got back there right now are doing a good job.
Coach, you opened up at Midway, and obviously Rockwood and Midway have had a fierce battle for years and years, and I know you'd probably like to get one under your belt before you had to go to Midway.
Yeah, you'd always like to. You know, Midway and, you know, Rockwood's been a county rival for a long time, and we know that they're going to give us all that they've got, and, you know, they're going to play us tough, and, you know, we just got to be prepared and ready to play.
Coach, the recent TSSAA things for next year, pleased with it or got any feelings at all?
Well, I mean, if it goes as planned, you know, until they set it in stone, then, you know, something can always change. And you know how TSSAA is. They can change their mind in just a minute. And so, yeah, I mean, if it goes as planned, I think it's, you know, the best route that we ought to go. I don't know about the 9 championships, but, you know, what does it really matter when it gets right down to it? You know, we got kids that, you know, playing for it. You know, everybody's excited about it. And, you know, there's going to be an extra gold ball handed out at the end of the year. So, you know, as far as that goes, it's really not that big a deal. But, yeah, I think we're heading in the right direction, hopefully.
How many classes would you have liked to have seen?
Well, I mean, really and truly, you know, with the state of our size, you know, 340 teams in the state of Tennessee and, you know, 9 championships, that's almost unheard of. You know, you got to look at Texas. You know, they got 1,400 high schools in the state of Texas, and they got 10 championships. And Florida's got, you know, 8 or 9, whatever they've got, you know, a lot more schools. But anyways, you know, that's just an opinion. We know we weren't going to go backwards in this thing. We knew we were not going to cut down from 6. So it was either going to stay the same or add. So that's just kind of what they decided to do, and that's what we're going to do.
Coach, you look at your schedule, and you probably have nightmares because all of a sudden here you've got a Sweetwater team, and you know back even probably when you were playing, Sweetwater was a big rivalry of Rockwoods, and then we got away from them for a little while. But rich tradition, and there's Sweetwater week 2.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've got a tough schedule, you know, week in and week out. You know, it's very competitive all up and down the board. And, you know, if you are fortunate enough to make it through the season and make the playoffs, you know you're going to have a good football team, you know, just being able to be one of the top 4 in this district. So, you know, it's tough, and we know that. You know, we've played it in the past, and, you know, hopefully we'll be prepared for it this year also.
Coach, I'm sure you've not changed your offense. That's correct, right?
I'll let you know here in a couple weeks.
Well, Coach, I've been trying to tell him, Coach, about the West Coast offense you put in.
Well, you know, I'm going to keep him guessing there for just a little bit.
No, you got to keep me guessing too much.
But, you know.
Coach, I know what you're running. Okay.
Well, Coach, I know.
I mean, you know, it's one of them things. We do what we try to do and do it as well as we can do it. And, you know, we've been fairly successful with it the last few years. And hopefully, you know, it'll stay the same and keep working.
Coach, fairly successful is an understatement.
You know, Coach,
yeah, that's one thing a lot of people, you know, they do say we don't throw the football. You know, we did have a quarterback last year that threw for over 1,000 yards, and, you know, we had 2 running backs rush for over 1,000 yards. And one thing we haven't mentioned a whole lot, you know, around here because we don't really keep up with records, but I went back and looked, and, you know, we set the school record last year for most points, you know, in a single season, most points average per game in you know, throughout the year. So, you know, and then we've got some awful dang good football teams here at Rockwood High School, and that's something to be proud of, that group we had last year.
Yeah, it really is, because I think probably this time last year, Coach, we were asking you the same thing about quarterback, because, you know, you had a young man who you know, stepped in and did a good job, and that means you also had some kids at wide receiver. That's pretty balanced to have, you know, to have 2,000-yard rushers and a 1,000-yard passer.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's almost unheard of, really, you know, especially with having a couple of guys that rush for over 1,000 yards. But, you know, our fullback, Jaden Woods, did an outstanding job, and Isaiah Jones. And, you know, we had several other guys that, you know, put a lot of yards on the board there last year also, you know, with Ryan McCain and Joe Axburn and people like that. So, yeah, they weren't 1,000-yard rushers, but they had their fair share.
Sure. And I'm sure McCain is you're going to count on him to lead the attack this year.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to count on, and you know, he's come in, he's working hard, and hopefully he'll be able to step in and, you know, make up for a lot of those yards that we lost.
This time of year has to be really exciting to be a high school football coach. You get to see you get to see freshmen coming in. You get to start watching them mature and grow, and you look at your seniors, and you remember back when they were freshmen, and you see your juniors and sophomores that have bought into your program, and that's really what this stuff is all about, isn't it?
Well, it's really unbelievable, and especially as long as I've been here and see as many groups come and go as I have, and it just keeps getting faster and faster. It just seems like yesterday I started here, and now we're going on year 21, and seeing all these guys come in, and we're really excited about our freshman class. We think they're going to be a good group of kids, and obviously our sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Most of them have been through the battles and the wars with us, and so we do have some experience. We don't have a lot of starting experience in some places, but we've got a lot of guys that played a lot of football for us.
Well, Coach, I know you're excited. I know you. This is the time of year you also appreciate those booster clubs and things like that for all the help that they do.
Oh yeah, sure do. And we're just getting started with all that. Our booster club guy, Tracy Treadway, he's out pounding the pavement right now, and trying to raise money for us. And we're in the middle of a fundraiser as a team, and and that's one thing that we always do is make sure it goes back to the kids. And it's one thing we've kind of been proud of ourselves. A kid can play football here at Rockwood High School for 4 years and not spend a dime of their own money unless they choose to. We pay for just about everything, and it's great. It's a great situation for a lot of kids here.
Well, we'd certainly like to raise enough money to get one of these new fields like everyone's getting with the turf, wouldn't we, Coach?
Well, or at least a new lawnmower, Ron.
You just want a new lawnmower, right?
Send somebody.
I'll just start right there. Let's get the ones I've got fixed. That's all.
Send somebody.
We'll start low right here and move our way up.
There you go.
Send somebody by Ron Berry Insurance to get a donation. Be for sure to do that.
Well, if I knew it'd work, I'd be down there myself.
Okay, it'll work.
Coach, thank you very much, and we look forward to watching the Tigers play this year.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
One of the nicest guys I know. He likes to give me a hard time, and I love giving him more. He's really a good guy. I really like him.
That's about the most you're going to get out of him,
That's about the best you're going to get.
He's like that old heartbeat,
I'm not getting on him. There's a running thing with me and him about throwing the ball. We tell me I always ought to throw the ball, and he is successful at what he does, running the football. And listen, when you know the plays he's going to run, there's something wrong with him. He's running them too long. It's
been
time.
There too long. I've been around too long down there.
He needs to change up a little bit. I'm trying to help him out here a little bit. But good football coach. Always, he said he didn't want to use that term reload, but they reload every year. So I guess when I said 5-5, it caught you off guard a little bit. I'm just wondering if this might not be the year it catches him. Maybe he's 6-4, 7-3. I'm going to say 5-5. He's a good coach.
A lot of difference in 7-3 and 5-5.
Oh, yes, there's a lot of difference. There's 2 more wins in there and 2 less losses. Not much difference in 6-4, though. It can bounce your way by, I say, 5-5.
All right. Show of truth.
We'll see.
Show of truth. Let's take a break. We'll come back and dissect a couple more teams.
When I was elected to Congress, I wanted to bring East Tennessee values to Washington. Here in Tennessee, we have a great tradition of collecting antique firearms. When President Obama came out with another gun control initiative, I stepped up and I defunded that. I have a 100% pro-life voting record since I've been in Congress, and that's why, again, I'm proud to receive the endorsement of the National Right to Life Committee.
Conservative Chuck Fleischman for Congress.
I'm Chuck Fleischman, and I approve this message.
And thanks for joining us today in the studios.
Reason number 1, personal service. Whether you come in or call in and place an order, our experienced staff knows your sport and your school, and we'll help make your purchase easier. Reno's Sporting Goods.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We buy it on the spot and we pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Herman and Rockwood.
I am for the child who's had 7 addresses in a single year because she's in foster care, because her father abused her, And her mother couldn't believe her. She is the child I am for. I am a CASA volunteer. I am you.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is the premier pharmacy service location. Let our professional staff help with all your pharmacy needs, answer your questions, or help with your medication management with our Medicine on Time packaging system. We also offer medication therapy management to ensure you're receiving maximum benefits from your medication. Diabetes care is available with one-on-one consultations, or you can attend one of our monthly diabetes information classes. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood.
We've all seen stories of conflict that ended with peace. We've seen stories of hunger end in abundance. We see stories of fear, despair, and poverty, but they can end with courage, hope, and love. With you. Be a part of writing a story that's greater than poverty. Learn how at vision.org.
Since 1987, Reno's has been providing East Tennessee with superior uniforms and equipment. With in-house screen printing and monogramming, we provide professional custom gear for athletes, coaches, and supporters. Reno Sporting Goods, your team dealer.
That's Rockwood and Oak Ridge. What did I say, Oak Ridge? 9-1?
Yeah, I said 6-4.
9-1.
But I've not
okay.
got the chance to actually sit down and talk to Coach Gaddis.
Oh, I hadn't either.
He's got to fill me in
I
on
might
a
have
few
gone
things.
10-0 if I'd have got a chance.
No, you wouldn't have. I need to sit down and talk to him. He's got to explain a few things to me.
No, he don't have to explain anything to
Well,
me.
he's got to tell me something about his players.
No,
I need to
not
know who
really.
he's got
No, not
here and who
really.
he's got there. If I'm going to make a prediction about him,
Well, you already made a prediction.
I did, but I'd like to have talked to him before that. So, see, with Coach Webb, my concern is a quarterback. They've still not, he told us they've still not picked one yet. They're still rotating. That usually doesn't work nowhere.
Well, yeah, it's worked.
It
worked
doesn't
in-
work.
Well, it worked at Oak Ridge last year.
Well, no, it didn't. They didn't
Well,
go nowhere.
They made a pretty good run.
Well, they didn't win it, so it doesn't work.
Well, you don't have to win it before
Well,
it works.
yeah, to me, if you're going to be successful, you got to win it.
Oh, you got to win a state championship.
You need to win it.
So there's only
There's only 8 of them this year.
eight
That when it's all said and done, I guarantee
that have done a good job.
I'll guarantee you every football coach will say it wasn't a successful year if he was loaded to the Bears and thought he had the team to do it. He should have won it. Guarantee you.
No.
Okay. All right.
What did Brad say?
I didn't hear him. Coach Tapp.
Hey, Coach.
Hey,
How you doing?
doing fine.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time here with us tonight. How's it going with the Harriman Blue Devils?
It's going. You know, it's hot, but we're out there working, trying to get better.
Coach, you know, last year you had a couple All-State football players. You had a really good season, and a lot of your juniors now understand and got a little taste of that. So I'm sure you're looking for them for some big leadership this year.
Yeah, you know, a lot of faces have changed, but like you said, you know, your kids come back and they always want to try to do better the next year, you know, and you know, again, you build off of success, and you want to go even further. So yeah, they're out there working, and you know, again, it's lost a lot of kids. You know, I told them the other day, those kids last year scored 489 points last season. That's a lot of points, but you know, they're working hard. A lot of pieces to replace, but kids are stepping up and filling in.
Now, Coach, the word on the street is that skill positions you just got too deep.
We're what now? I don't even know what you're talking about. No, you know, again, there's, you know, we got some kids, again, they've worked hard. A lot of these kids, you know, have been in the system and waited their turn, and now they're stepping up to play. And, you know, they always grow there in between certain seasons, get a little bigger, a little faster, a little stronger. So,
when it comes their turn, they're ready to play. We try to play a JV schedule and get our kids prepared. So, that always helps them for the next year.
I know one thing that you have to be excited about is the fact that you don't have to break a quarterback in. It seems like every year you've had to break a quarterback in. So this year I think you got a quarterback in Joe Pace coming back that's probably all-state potential. You got a couple of really good wide receivers. But you always have to worry about those interior linemen, don't you?
Yeah, and Pace, of course, is just an outstanding athlete. Great kid. He made one preseason All-State team. He's one of those kids. A lot of people. A guy called me about him. Said, "Well, at 11 interceptions, is that it for his career?" And I said, "Yes, sir. He's played 1 year. That was last year. That's 11 for the year." And he's just one of those kids. Again, you put a ping pong paddle in his hand, he'll win the ping pong tournament. It's just one of those. And again, a pleasure to be around. Works hard, and glad to have him. But yeah, he's got a lot of experience, and that comes in handy. And he's got some kids come out, basketball players that catch the football, so he's got some targets out there to throw to. And Hunter Clark's back up front on that line, and this will be his 4th year start, and so we got some leadership there in the trenches, and a couple of other seniors, stepping up in there, Hunter Davidson, Casey Kirkland. Again, the line, every coach knows it, and it's cliche, but that's where you win your ball games, and we know that, and I think Coach Stewart, Coach Green do a great job developing those linemen.
Coach, I also have heard that you've got a couple of brothers, sons of Jermaine Copeland, playing at the Blue Devils for the Blue Devils this year.
Yeah. They moved down this spring, and Jermaine come by. It's always a pleasure to see him. He's a great guy, and one of the best athletes to ever come through Harriman or Roane County, for that matter. And his kids, good boys, and I guess that puts the spotlight on them. I've told them, I just want them to be Jerome and Tresden and do the best they can. And again, they come to work hard every day, and glad to have them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sure. Coach, you look at your schedule, and as always, the Blue Devils open with Kingston, and it doesn't get any tougher than that. But I know your team's probably looking for the challenge.
Yeah, I know Coach Pink, he does a great job, and they had a big year last year, and I've heard nothing but good things about them this year. I know they're really good up front.
Yep. 2012.
I was at a camp and got to see the running back run, and if you blink, you'll miss him. He's that fast. But he's got some big kids. Just a good program, good team, and we look forward to it. At Harriman Kingston rival, that game, should be a lot of people over there from all over the county to watch. And again, it's something special to be a part of.
And Coach, of course, the district that you're in, Cofield, Midway, Oneida, Greenback, teams that are synonymous with state championships and state tournament runs. So that district probably one of the toughest single-A districts around.
I think it is. I think, and I've said it several times, from top to bottom, that district to me is the toughest single-A district in the state. There's districts that have one or two good teams that are above and beyond everybody, but ours, it just don't stop. When you look down through there, they're all good. And, last year I think we had Oneida, Cofield, and Greenback all ranked in the top 10 in the state in the preseason. And I think this year 2 of them are. So, again, it's just tough. And Midway, Coach Minton does a great job. Those kids are always ready to big numbers this year, and a lot of kids out. So, yeah, I mean, in Coalfield and Greenback, Oneida again. You know what you're getting into every week. It's a test with the talent they have. Coaching staffs, just great coaches you have to coach against. So, it's a good district to be a part of. If you get to the playoffs in that district, you are playoff ready. You're ready to go.
Well, I don't want to mess your night up, Coach. But you go to Rockwood, then you have Coalfield, Midway, Oneida, Greenback, and Jellicoe.
Yeah, yeah. Again, you keep reminding me here of what I've got myself into. But, it just don't stop. Our non-district schedule there. You've already mentioned Kingston. Now you throw Rockwood at me. Again, another program that Coach Webb does a tremendous job. He's a great guy. His kids, no nonsense attitude. Come out there, I've heard his line is, one of the biggest around this year, and again, just does a great job. So, our schedule every week is a challenge, and that's what I tell my kids. We've got to go to work each and every week. There is no breaks, and as a coach, you look at that sometimes and take a step back and think, oh my gosh, but you also like that. You want the challenge. You want your kids to be challenged week in and week out. So, again, we look forward to it.
Of course, the biggest thing of all, Coach, is this year you've got some players now playing at the next level, and that really has to be exciting for you.
Oh, it is. It is. I've Trayton Peters come by the scrimmage last Friday, and he's getting a dose of Division I football. He's done good. He's out there and again working hard. It's when they get on that level. It's different. It's different than high school football, and that's what I try to tell my kids. You never get those years back, so make every play count. And it is exciting just seeing him come by and going up to the field house and talking to us and talking to the kids. Again, it's something for not only Harriman but the whole county to see that these kids from these smaller schools, they can go too. Just got to work and work hard and put out. And if you've got the talent, they'll come around and they'll find you.
Coach, what's your numbers like this year?
We've got 40. We've got right at 40. We started summer camp, I think, with 47, 48. But when it's hot like it is, and you're out there doing all that running and doing what you do to get your kids ready, there's some that decide it's not for them, and it's not for everybody. It's tough, and you got to get your body ready for what you're about to go through, and it's part of it. So, but we got 40 right now, and I think, if I'm in that bunch and I've made it this far, there's no way I quit now.
No, you don't quit now, do you?
We're 2 weeks away, and, you get in the season mode, and there's a price to pay for all that fun on Friday nights and the bands and the crowds, and it's part of it. It's, you don't just put the uniform on and walk out there. You got to earn that right. So, those kids are out there earning it right now at every school that's practicing.
Coach, TSSAA just come down with some new or going to have some new class. What was your feelings on that?
The new what now?
The new stuff from the TSSAA, the 9 championships. What do you think about that?
Well, I think probably, most of for us, basically, looking at it for the public school, about everything will be the same. I think what they did there by throwing the numbers out there to the private schools, they let them see exactly where they will stand, so that I think more of them will go into that private division. To me, I think there'll be 20-something schools in each division. They've got a lot better chance in that, you know. And I really like what they did now with the multiplier. You know, they had that 1.8 multiplier, but it said, you know, if you're single A and you multiply and you go to 3A, well, we're going to put you in 2A. To me, that never made any sense. If you're going to use the multiplier, wherever the numbers go, then put them there.
That's
but
right.
now, if they stay in, you know, like in one of these schools that multiply out to be AAA that are single A numbers, well, they got to go to AAA. So again, you know, I guess the multiplier to me, when you multiply it out and you get the number and that's where you stand, makes more sense to me than, you know.
Coach, that was.
Again, I think it's fair. I think it shows them exactly where they'll stand if they want to go into the private and offer, you know, tuition-based finances or whatever. It helps them to see where they're going to be. And if they want to go public, they know, well, the multiplier, wherever you land, that's where you're going. So, but basically for the public, you still got your 6 classes. You know, they'll take the enrollment, divide by 6, and then that's how you'll know how many teams are in each classification. So that to me is fair.
You know, Coach, you remember a couple of years ago when the multiplier put Catholic in 6A, and they came back and got to go back to 5A and then win a championship. So it's you know, or they went to 5A and came back to 4A, but it's
right.
You know, I agree with you. If you're going to use the multiplier, then you can't start saying asterisks. You know, you only move up 1. So
only move up 1, although with the multiplier you're supposed to go 2.
Right.
I never understood that. You know, to me, I mean, it makes sense for them to repeal that and go back to the way it is again, and it lets those schools see, hey, here's where you'll be. You know, they've seen the numbers, they know their cutoff. As a public school, we don't know the cutoff. Everybody will ask, well, are you going to be single A? We don't know until they take the number of schools that play football, divide by 6, and they try to keep each division even. So those cutoffs for the public school, those numbers change every time they reclassify. And a lot of people don't understand that, but that's how they do it. And again, it makes sense. And, you know, you may be, you know, Oliver Springs could go single A next time. Harriman could go double A. It's just according to the numbers they get from the schools this fall. And again, they divide it out and determine how many teams, and, you know, you'll know where you stand.
Well, Coach, I know it's an exciting time. You're finishing up your summer work, and next week you'll actually start game week about the first week of school this year, which is really early. So, but that's a time when you get to reflect back and see how hard your kids have worked, and like you said, you get ready for showtime, and that's really what it's all about.
It is. Again, you know. You're out there right now, and it got hot, you know, real hot. We adjusted our practice times and started going out early morning. But I don't care when you go out. By the time you're getting done, you know, it's miserable. But, you know, you reflect back on that, and it's part of football. You know, I'm getting old, you know, and all, but I walk in that locker room, it never changes, you know. It's just things that you don't forget, and again, you know, there's always a price to pay to be a part of a team and to be a part of something. You know, if there wasn't, it's probably not worth being part of.
That's right.
So these guys, again, some of these relationships they make with the people they play in high school, it'll last forever. You know I see a lot of guys I used to play with. Dexter Hughes come by practice the other day and stopped in and talked to me for a while. And again, those guys right there, you'll never forget them, you know, and, you know, they'll mean something to you later. So, again, it's a lot of hard work to get to the fun part when the season starts. and the Friday nights. I mean, the high school football, there's nothing like it.
Well, Coach, how about your assistants? You have the same assistants as last year?
Yeah, well, I've got three. I've got Coach Stewart, does the line. Him and Coach Jay Green work with the linemen on both sides of the ball. Then Coach Julian Goins is working with the secondary on defense, and he works with the receivers. All them guys do a great job, put a lot of time in for me, and I really appreciate it. All these head coaches, appreciate their assistance, because you can't do it by yourself, and these guys go out here and put in a lot of time and effort to get these kids prepared for games, and again, and trying to be a role model and teach them something that may help later in life. So, I've got three at current time. So we're a little low right now, but they do a great job. So I guess you're looking at quality versus quantity, but it's hard now. Again, a lot of guys, they see all the time and stuff. People don't understand that. The mowing. I was over there the other morning at 6:30, weed eating at the practice field that morning, and just things that you do, film work, and that it's never ending now.
Right.
So, a lot of guys, I won't say I appreciate all these coaches in Roane County and all over the state, because there's so much time involved, and I appreciate what they do for these young men to help them, not only with football, but with things that will make them better men in life later.
Well, Coach, it's always fun to catch up with you, and it's fun to watch the Blue Devils play, and we certainly look forward to this year watching you, and we appreciate what you have done for the kids of Roane County, and we certainly thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Again, I tell my players all the time, I don't take the coaching lightly. It's truly a blessing for me to get the opportunity to be their coach, and to be the coach of Harriman. Being from Roane County and being from Harriman, it means the world to me. I think a lot of this town and this community, and it's something that I don't take lightly at all. And again, it's a true blessing to get the opportunity that the school and the Roane County schools have given me to lead the kids at Harriman, and it's much appreciated. It means a lot to me.
Good luck this year, Coach.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Travis Tapp.
One of the finer coaches.
He is.
He's right there with Coach Webb and a bunch of
he's a fiery thing.
He's a good coach.
He's a fiery guy.
It sounds like to me his numbers is up. I know he'd like to have the 48 or 49, but 40, he seems to be pretty happy. Well, I wish we'd asked him about his freshman class.
And the thing about it is, when you got 40 out at the end,
yes,
that means you got 40 that want to play.
That want to play football. So I'm sure he'd like to have the 50 or 55 out probably, but he seemed pretty tickled with what he had. Didn't want to answer that question about having the best skilled people around, did he? Sort of described that a little bit.
I think
he knows what he's got.
But he softened up a little bit there.
Yeah, a little bit.
He softened up a little bit there. And he brings up a point that we've talked about, David, for the last 7 or 8 years, and that's the fact that everyone wants to go 10-0 every year. It's not going to happen. But the most important thing to me, and he talked about it right there, relationships. When you go through 4 years of the kind of work that it takes to do this, it's like a fraternity.
Yep.
You never forget. And I guarantee you, I've said it before and I'll say it again tonight, if you go ask 100 young men who their football coach was, whether it was 30 years, 40 years, or 50 years ago, they can tell you.
Just like that.
And it's because of just what he said. It's the amount of time that you spend with them. It's the lessons that you learn. And it's not to say that it's any more important. It's the same thing. The math teacher doesn't get the quality time. The English teacher doesn't get the quality time that football coach does. You're at with a football coach because that's where you want to be. You're in the math class because that's where they tell you you got to be.
You have to be. That's
but
right.
but it's that relationship building that is so important, and the skills that you learn that go with you.
Well, you feel for him every year because it seems like every year if you go see him at the first year and go back 8 or 9 weeks later towards the end, they've been decimated by injuries the last 4 or 5 years. Now, last year might have been an exception. They had a really good football team. I really think he's got a good football team this year. I'm saying he's somewhere in the 8-2 to 7-3 bracket.
This could be a special year.
This could be a good year for him. So I'm thinking he's in the 8 bracket win, maybe 7 bracket win, somewhere right in there.
You know, he's like Coach Webb was last year. He's got some kids that can run the football. They can throw the football, and look for him now. You talk about Coach Webb getting away. Look for him to probably for the first time, and I don't know. I haven't watched him practice or anything, but my guess is you probably will see Pace in a pistol formation where he's going to have the ball in his hands almost every snap with options to do something with it.
You know, we talked to Coach Webb, and he talks about how tough it is in the district. We turn right around and talk to Coach Tapp. He says the same thing again. You know, the last 2 years, the state runner-up has come from teams he's played, being Greenback and Cofield.
And look around us.
Oh, it's everywhere.
No, but what I'm saying is there are no more single-A schools around.
There's no more single-A schools around, but if you go and talk to Oak Ridge, he's going to tell you he's in a tough one. Anderson County's in a tough one.
He is.
So we're really right in the heartbeat of football, and Tennessee's right. To me, it's right here. I think we're surrounded by some really good schools. Not only that, we got some really good football coaches too. So,
and if you're not, you're not in the district, they're playing a team that's out of the district that's going to win a state championship.
That's going to win a state championship. No, you're right. I agree with you.
So either or is going to get you.
2 minutes.
We hadn't talked much about college football and because of the high school, but we have. But you have to like what you're hearing coming out of UT.
Well, you know, I didn't care too much for Talk Bush Jones whining about he's only got 7 days before school starts. Come on, Coach. He's loaded this year, and you know he is.
But still, though, you'd like to have more days where you can get.
They'd all like to have more days. Sure. Just take what you got and go with it. It's not gonna hurt him that bad. He knows what he's got. I guarantee they know what they got.
Well,
if they were going on the field today, he'd put the starting 22 out there today, offensively and defensively, kickoff, punt return, everything. They'd be ready to go if they were starting today.
They would.
That's what I thought.
They would.
Over.
They would.
Done. Same.
But that's not what it's all about.
But they got so many returning starters both ways, they ought to not need a lot of practice. Now, for the younger guys, yes, I buy that. But he's veteran team this year. He's 2 to 3 deep in some positions. It ought to be good.
10 wins?
No. I say 9. 9 and 3.
I say 10 minimum. Should be 11.
Most people are thinking 12.
No, I think
it'll
anything
depend.
less than 10 is not satisfactory.
It will depend. He needs to win. And I'm counting Florida as a loss right now, okay, just because they beat him so many years in a row. Okay. He could turn that around. Yes, 10 wins is a possibility.
Okay. Appreciate you being in the locker room tonight. Stay tuned next week. We'll be right back getting ready for high school football. Have a great week, everybody.
Wanted to bring East Tennessee values to Washington. Here in Tennessee, we have a great tradition of collecting antique firearms. When President Obama came out with another gun control initiative, I stepped up and I defunded that. I have a 100% pro-life voting record since I've been in Congress, and that's why, again, I'm proud to receive the endorsement of the National Right to Life Committee.
Conservative Chuck Fleischman for Congress.
I'm Chuck Fleischman, and I approve this message.
You're wrong. Clinton at a rally in Colorado says the website provides information on places in the U.S. that are making ties, suits, furniture, and other items. At a rally in Daytona Beach, Florida, Trump making a case for change in the White House.
They're tired of seeing somebody like Hillary Clinton that shouldn't even be allowed to run for president run this country into the ground. She'll be worse than Obama.
But the latest Fox News poll shows Clinton ahead of Trump by 10 points in the presidential race, edging him out on temperament and experience needed to lead the country. Republican leaders are described as frustrated and uneasy about the tone and direction of the Trump campaign.
They do think that there's a real problem with Donald Trump across the realm of the Republican leadership. They think that he's gotten himself so far off message that all they're